Tennessee commitment, Ethan Utley, shouldn't be the last big commitment for the Vols in the mid-state. So I took a look at some of the guys in the mid-state area that are taking a hard look at Tennessee. Of course, Utley has committed to the Vols, and now they have a strong presence there, along with a quarterback who, if you haven't heard, is pretty good, 5-star quarterback. We'll talk more about him and the influence that he has. But what down first for us, as it's brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. And what should people do, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
And
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
There you go. So let's start from the bottom. CJ Jim Coley. He's number 11 prospect in the state of Tennessee. Looks like his recruitment is just starting to pick up. He gets an offer from Cal, 6'2", 190 pounds. I get the feeling that if Tennessee wants Jim Coley, they can get him.
Yes, but doesn't it stand out that his main offers from Cal, a Group of 5 adjacent school in the ACC somehow, because they just needed a Power 5 conference to get to? That leads me to think that they're not that high on him, if I'm being honest with you.
Nope. I agree with that as well.
And by the way, guess where he goes to high school? Go ahead. Guess, Dave.
Lay it on me.
Lipscomb Academy.
Yep, Lipscomb Academy. All right, so the other players on my list, it's on offthehooksports.com. What down is it with that Dynasty Pools and Spas?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right, second down. Chauncey Gooden. This is the guy at 6'4", 320 pounds that is out of Lipscomb that has a limited scholarship offers. And I think, though, that he'll end up being a pretty big name. I like his size. He moves. Auburn and Arkansas are said to be interested. I think he fashions himself a defensive lineman. He might want to fashion himself an offensive lineman in the near future.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Rivals is already listing him, thinking he's going to be an offensive guard. So I think that's
good news for Chauncey and his family's decision-making ability.
Yes. So, but you're right. That's probably hurting his recruitment right now because only Clemson is the only big name school involved. Auburn and Arkansas are a bit lesser. And let's be honest, Hugh Freeze will straight up lie to your face to get you to commit to him.
Of course not. What down, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
Jalen Morgan. I think Tennessee's in good shape with Morgan. Talked to somebody about him this morning. 6 foot, 180 pound defensive back from Montville, Tennessee. But there's some competition. Number 5 prospect in the state. And that's another 4-star prospect. I think Tennessee has a great shot of landing him. As a matter of fact, I think Tennessee in general has a fantastic feel going on in the mid-state area. And don't forget, a lot of that's from having mid-state guys, Caleb, that I could throw out there like a James Wilhoit. I think he has an effect on kickers in the mid-state. But you also have George McIntyre there. You just have a really good, strong feel, both from former players and committed prospects in the mid-state area.
Yeah, Jalen Morgan is from the eastern portion of the state, smaller area, but I get what you're saying. I'm really high. I love highly rated players from smaller counties in East Tennessee. Love them because I don't think they get missed on that much. So as much as I'm low on Nashville, I'm high on them. And so I think
And then lastly, Terry Grant, cornerback from Siegel High School in Murfreesboro. I can remember when Siegel played Knox Central and they had to have a running clock because they were getting beat 72-3. And nowadays, Siegel is a private school that's respectable. It's not one of the major schools in the Nashville area, but pretty well respected there in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, and when Nashville people fight me, they try to take credit for Murfreesboro kids. And I'm like, no, different region, guys. Totally different region. And so given that region, and I do love Murfreesboro kids. Typically, obviously, Tennessee needs cornerback help. And there's something about kids that come from that particular area. They are the hardest working, toughest players usually on Tennessee's football team. I mean, Juwan Jennings is where I go to usually for that.
And this is one of the first classes, and I may write something about this a little bit later, Caleb, but this is one of the first classes that Josh Heupel is going to pick up an equity commitment, for lack of a better term, and maybe help me with that term. But
You
just
mean building good rapport in the region? Someone is going to commit?
Yes. Like this is now Lane may be different, but when Lane showed up, he struggled to get along with people and there wasn't the connection there. Tennessee now, though, with Josh Heupel and their culture and high school coaches, that's why they have a high school clinic. They don't do it to teach them to be better coaches. They have a high school clinic to show off their stuff and how they can coach. I think high school coaches really, really like Josh Heupel. And there's going to be an equity commitment that Tennessee is going to pick up, maybe 2 or 3 from guys that are like, I'm down the road. I like Tennessee. I also like Florida. It's easier just to go to Tennessee. I think they start to pick up some of those guys.
I think you're right. I think that the thing you have to remember, though, is Josh Heupel builds that rapport not because he wants to, but his personality allows him to. And so, because I don't think he's that much, I think Lane Kiffin was honestly cold shouldering because Lane Kiffin was trying to focus on areas that he valued more. Lane Kiffin really wanted to recruit Florida a lot. If you remember, he was really trying to get a lot of the Florida kids and threw caution to the wind on the character of those Florida kids. We'll throw that out there. But yeah, but he wasn't just the only one. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt, I think I told you guys, told a guy I know, he basically said, I shouldn't waste my time recruiting in state because the only decent pipeline is in West Tennessee and he basically was one who said Nashville kids aren't that good. And so he focused more on Georgia in that regard. And Butch Jones did focus on Nashville, and he probably had more busts than any coach in Tennessee football history as a head coach. And so I think Josh Heupel's building a rapport, but I'm kind of seeing some similar things to him where you're noticing this. Josh Heupel is still meticulous on who he goes after. And I do think that's actually a good thing. I also think this. People can make narratives out of relationships with high school coaches, this or that or the other. Dave, if you start winning, you get more talent in state. I mean, it's kind of that simple.
Yeah, the coaches tend to get excited because they can be fans, and their tickets are worth a little bit more because every coach in the state gets a pair of tickets to go to a game. So yeah, they want to be a part of it. You want to be a part of Dynasty Pools and Spas, and I'll take a look at Tennessee's in-state prospects outside of the mid-state area that are so important. We'll also visit with Ron Slay here momentarily. That's 4 Downs, brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Just imagine having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. What about that? Dynasty Pools and Spas. Their showroom is open in Athens, right off the interstate. You can stop by and check out the best hot tubs and spas in the market. And delivery, yes, they can do that to Knoxville or Chattanooga. They've got complete support, spa cover, and chemicals to keep your spa bubbling at its best. They also have pool chemicals as well. Dynasty Pools and Spas, amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemish models that can save you a ton, and no one will ever notice. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Go to dynastypoolsandspas.com or stop by that showroom in Athens. dynastypoolsandspas.com. Dynasty Pools and Spas. We were just discussing Tennessee and recruiting football in the mid-state area. Ron Slade joins us now. Talking about Dynasty Pools and Spas. Ron, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Just making a trek up to the Motor City.
There you go. We'll talk some hoops. But just in general, the feel that UT has in a college football recruiting perspective in the mid-state area, because you're there. You're on in the evenings and afternoons, 104.5 The Zone. I've been up there. It seems like a very University of Tennessee fan town. I used to start to say pro town. That would have made it sound all goofy. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's working its way back, man. You know what I mean? I think Pruitt did enough damage while he was here, you know what I mean, to try to disconnect from there. So I think Coach Heupel and his staff have done a good job as far as plugging back in with the community and things of that nature. So yeah, it's pretty much a fence going up around the state now.